Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. And I want to say Shalom to Achman Akwat out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This one's titled Esau's Everlasting Hatred Towards Jacob. Hashtag America. Now, I was going to put hashtag Black History in there, but I really don't like using the term black, even though, that's what the term gets put on our people today. All right, they call, or various other names, all right, for the so-called, Negroes. All right, they call them, Negroes, black, among other, slurs and bywords. All right, for the so-called Latinos, they call us all sorts of types of names, right? And they have names for the Native Americans as well, all right? And the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans being the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of, all right? And that's why they've, once you really start getting into the Bible, it really starts explaining, everything lines up, all right? You understand why they are this way towards our people, why they've hid who we are, called us everything but who we are, oh, you're African, no, you're this, you're that, you're Mexican, or you're Native American. Well, that's our history. That's it. Why do we look different than these? Why do the so-called black people look different than the so-called Africans? That doesn't make sense. All right, and that's the main thing. What we're dealing with today is the Southern Kingdom. All right, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Now, if this happens to be your first time stumbling across this, all right, we are the Hebrew Israelites. All right, you may have heard of us through the grapevine, right? So, probably in not so good of a light, all right, as they try to paint us most of the time, all right, but the ultimate goal is to preach the gospel of, the Lord, and to, for the true believers to wake up and understand who they are and who the Lord is and what his real name is, right? So, let's get, I'm trying to find it here in signs. This is the 12 tribe sign, if this is your first time, all right, by chance. Here through, I don't know, the hashtag or however you found here. This is the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, and when we speak of, the Southern Kingdom, all right, that's made up of what people would call, Negroes or black people, right? Which is made up of Judah, all right, the head tribe, which are called, the so-called Negroes or black people, as a lot of the time they're just referred to. Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, right? So that's all the tribes that would be considered so-called black. And we don't use that term black because black means void of light. And they put the term white on themselves. They're not white. Do they look like a piece of paper? No. And our people are not black either, all right? They're not. They don't look like, asphalt. All right? Asphalt is black. All right? Nobody's that color. They're dark shades of brown, man. All right? Even they don't call, even with chocolate, they don't call it black chocolate. They call it dark chocolate. All right? Dark. Are we dark? Are our people dark-skinned? Yes. Are they black? No. Dark-skinned? Yes. Black? No. Okay? But they use these terms, black, because black means void of light, and they get, white, which is represented with purity and angels and all these different things, right? And holiness. But black is, associated with death and dying and all the macabre and all these different things. And that's just another tactic of this devil, man. The Edomites, all right? The so-called white man, the devil, right? So going down in the Northern Kingdom, all right, that's, the Latino brothers and sisters, right? We got Simeon, who are the so-called Dominicans, all right, and even they would call them sometimes, they look like so-called black people sometimes, all right? So they would be quick to call Simeon black as well, so sometimes Cubans too. So Simeon, the so-called Dominicans, Zebulon, the so-called Guatemalans, the Panamanians, Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Ricans, Manasseh, so-called Cubans, Gad, the so-called North American Indians, the natives, as they call them. Reuben, they're not native. Our people weren't, native to America. All right, we weren't native to America. All right, so the Gadites weren't native to America. They were native. We're all of us. Everybody on this list are native Israelites. Okay, we're native to Israel. All right, not to any of these other lands. Now, Gad inherited this land before Esau came and took it and stole it by killing him up, and that's all Esau does. All right, the so-called white man, wherever they go, they just kill. All right, they tried to do it to the Cubans. They did it to the North American Indians. The Haitians. They went over there and fucked shit up after Hurricane Katrina, I think it was. the countless atrocities over in the islands, Judah, transatlantic slave trade, which really affect us all. Hey, man, and the transatlantic slave trade, and the Native Americans had the Trail of Tears, which so-called Negroes were involved with, and probably some of the other Latinos as well. All right, you got Reuben, the so-called Seminole Indians, Naphtali, the so-called Argentinians, the Chileans. All right, and then you have Asher, the Colombians, the Uruguayans, the Brazilians, and all that. And of course, Issachar, the so-called Mexicans, man. So if you're on this list, all right, and you actually go back through that bloodline, all right, and mind you, you might not necessarily look, all right, how you are, all right. For example, like my bloodline would appear to go back to Issachar, all right, so-called Mexican, but through the spirit, I believe that I come through the seed line out of Judah, actually, through my father and his father, right? So that's just how it goes. Just different, cultural things. There's things, you might look like a so-called black person, but you're not just not just like you might look like a so-called Negro or so-called black person, but you might not go back to Judah. You could be a Levite, you could be a Benjamite if you're an Islander, all right. Or some of you could even look like a so-called black man and end up going back to Gad, all right, Native American, all right, because it was right there, hand in hand, man. So it's one of those things you just kind of feel it out. You'll know. It's like you just have like an inclination, man. You'll just know, like certain things. You'll just know. You'll have a feeling, right? Even if you look like a so-called white person, if you get this, maybe not so-called white after all. There's a lot of real light-skinned people out there, and there's a lot of real light-skinned people among the Latino tribes too. Some of those Ephraimites, some of those Puerto Ricans look like they could be almost white. Some of the Mexicans look like they could be almost white. All right, but they actually go back to the line of Jacob. You can even have people that look like a so-called Chinese person that somewhere down the line they had a Mexican father or something. All right, Mexican great-grandfather. It's all through the seed line of their fathers. We've talked about it before. Speckled birds. You can go and get that lesson. I'll actually show you it real quick, real fast here. Dealing with speckled birds more than meets the eye. All right, you can go and check that out. It just shows you, for example, Patrick Mahomes' dad was a so-called black man. Now he looks lighter. Now Patrick Mahomes, being a Jake, because his dad's a so-called black man, he got with a white woman, and those kids, now they're his seed line, all right, because if you watch this lesson, your seed line is declared by the house of your father, all right? Your mom doesn't mean anything. You're not half white. You're not half Asian. You're not half anything. If your dad is a so-called Negro, so-called Latino or Native American, somehow, an Israelite, you're an Israelite, all right? And the seed line through on down through that man, all right, is going to be Israelites, okay? So, if the man carries the seed, So if you have an Asian mom or if you have an African mom, that doesn't mean anything. You're not mixed. There's no such thing as mixed. Seed doesn't mix. Seed line doesn't mix. It's pure. Okay, you might have Asian features, you might have Hamite features, but at the end of the day, you're an Israelite. Okay, and even if you can't find your genealogy, all going back, if this resonates with you, you understand that the Lord, all right, is a so-called black man. All right, and you understand, Esau and their history of wickedness and violence. All right, and you understand, the spiritual things, and you're understanding the scriptures. Hey, despite your skin color, you might be an Israelite too, because it's not about a skin color. At the end of the day, it's not about skin color. All right, skin color can be hinting at who you are, but it's not definitive. All right, because you got people out there like Lenny Kravitz. We talked about this in this lesson that go back to small hats, man. That they're not even, he's not even a Jake, Lenny Kravitz, but you would look at him and you'd think that's a brother. All right, but Lenny Kravitz is not a brother, man. People be like, oh yeah, he's a brother. No, just because of the way he looks, no. Through his seed line, no, man. That's not how it works. There's other people too that I just can't think of now that are also tares, as they're called. So you might have some black people that look like, of course, so-called black people. You might have some Mexicans that look like so-called Mexicans, but they actually go back to Esau or Moab, all right, the so-called Chinese, right? So it's a spiritual thing at the end of the day, all right, a bloodline thing, and it's not skin color, but a lot of the people that you see that look like so-called Negroes are Israelites, all right, are Judites, and a lot of the so-called Mexicans that you see are Issacharites, right? Or they could be, filtered in with Gad. So, hey, and a lot of the Edomites, a lot of the white people you see are Edomites, all right, but there are stragglers in between. All right, it's not, not a 99%. There are stragglers in between. All right, most of the white people you see are Edomites. Most of the black people you see are Judites. All right, but there are stragglers in between every now and then. Right, people like Eminem. That's a Jake. Okay, but that's something that if you can't grasp now, you'll learn it with time. I recommend you going on to the Apostles page over at either Daily Edification or GMS Declaring the End. All right, this is the Apostle Gabar. This is the Apostle Dahar. Very learned man, been in this truth for 30 plus years, right? And they'll be able to get you, in that mindset. They'll teach you everything that you need to know, right? That's how we learned, all right, and that's how you should learn as well. So with that, without any further ado, Esau's everlasting hatred towards Jacob. All right, of course, Jacob being all of the so-called, well, not the so-called, but all of the tribes. All right, all the 12 tribes, Jacob. All right, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans on down. All right, really, it's referring to Jacob, the seed line of Jacob, on down. So, but we refer to Jake, just everybody. All right, but a lot of time it's dealing with so-called Negroes, but you can use Jake to refer to everyone through the seed line of Jacob. So, and Esau, of course, being the so-called white man, all right, through that seed line of Cain. So, Esau's everlasting hatred towards Jacob, all right, hashtag America. Now, I want to touch on this and get this because the other day I found this. All right, I saved it to my phone. And right here you see it. And it says, your homework assignment for today, pick one and research. Oh, good morning. All right, and I think a brother posted this, and Salakia for not being able to give the shout out. If I had to guess, it might have been Rala Yasharala. Yahushai is coming back. Of course, Yahushai being the true name for the Son, all right, that the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. All right, and the Father's name is Yahweh. Okay, and you can't reach the Father but through the Son, so you have to call upon the Father through the Son, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, which in the true biblical Paleo-Hebrew tongue means the Father in the name of the Son and the name of the Holy Spirit. All right, so you don't have to always include the Holy Spirit, but you do have to say Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai. Okay, so Bahashim means in the name of. All right, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, all right, which means Father in the name of the Son, all right? So, and that's in Paleo Hebrew, the true Hebrew, okay? The Father's name being Yahweh, which means He is, all right, He exists, and Yahushai, the name of the Son, meaning, the deliverer, He delivers, right? So, again, right here, we see a map, all right, with the title saying Black Massacres, right? Black Massacres, and you see all sorts of things on this list that we're going to not be able to grab all of them, but we're going to grab quite a few of them. Bear with me while I grab a drink. We're just going to go get a couple, right? Now, I looked up one previously, but I don't remember which one it was. I think it was like Memphis, 1866. We'll go and start with that one. All right. And this is the history that they don't want you to know about, Jake. This is the history that they... This is the history that they do not want you to know about. Spelt it all wrong, but it'll correct it. This is the history that they don't want you to know about because they want to keep you from, they want to paint themselves in a good light. It wasn't that bad, but they don't teach you this. They will not teach you these type of things in school, man. They will not teach you these type of things. All right, they'd much rather teach you about some bullshit. Just some bullshit. I can't even say what they teach you about. Not this. All right, they'll teach you about Jackie Robinson. They'll make you watch Remember the Titans, and that's pretty much about it, man. They'll say, oh yeah, Black history, yada yada yada. All right, moving on. They might tell you talk a little bit about the transatlantic slave trade, but they never talk about the times after the slave trade or during the absolute atrocities that happened. They'll never tell you that they were buck-breaking slaves. They'll never tell you that. They'll never tell you where the term motherfucker came from, is putting a bag on a slave's head and making him have sex with his mother. They'll never tell you about that. They'll never tell you about the rampant homosexuality that was being committed by slave masters on their slaves. They'll never tell you about those types of things. All right, because Esau, the so-called white man, tries to hide that shit. Does not want it being known. Does not want it being known. And I mean, for a good reason. I mean, if I was an Edomite, I wouldn't want that shit known either. Why? Because it doesn't paint you in a good light. Doesn't paint you in a good light at all. You don't want that coming out. You don't want to hear about stories about how the carnival games like the African Dodger and Hit the N-Word Baby. You don't want to hear the games like that. That's a real game that was played at fairs, man. But they don't want you knowing those things. All the Jim Crow era, they try to cover up and shove under a goddamn rug. All right, but no, man. It's recent. but they try to paint, all the atrocities that have been done to the black people has been done, 7,000 years ago. They're not, man. They're very, 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 very recent. All right, with equality laws, so-called, right, only hitting in what, like the one of them was in the 1980 race law. I know there was the equal, what was it? That was like 1950 equal rights law. 1954, right? The civil right. There was a law. What was the name of it? I can't remember the law. They made a law. It's a bunch of bullshit. The Equal Rights Amendment. It's a bunch of bullshit. Equal rights. Sure. Then why are people still getting gunned down in the street? And why are they finding lynches behind fucking Walmart and shit? Why can you still actively go and find a KKK application out there? Why are there still sites like Tightrope? All right, why are there all these things? If it's there's all these different equality. No, bullshit, man, bullshit. They never change. They never will change. They're still the same old devil that they've always been. And that's why right now they're trying to ban the Bible. All right, why? Because the Bible tells you their history, and once you get into it, and again, if you're just coming into this and if this is like your first lesson or your second, just take it slow, right? I'm gonna grab a scripture. Eat so much as is sufficient. All right. This is Proverbs 25:16. It says, actually, we need to get from verse 16. It says, "Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomit it." Okay, it's just like the same. This truth is kind of the same way as when you're eating food. All right, you want to eat it, sit, let it settle. All right, digest it and come back for more. All right, if you sit in a sitting and you're eating burgers and hamburgers and hot dogs and fries and shakes and burgers and bun, you're gonna fucking vomit. All right, it's gonna go everywhere. Okay, and then you won't have none of it. Okay, so when you're just waking up, take it slow, digest it. Don't try to learn everything at once. All right, it won't be beneficial for you if you try to learn everything at once. Do it, take notes over a course of days and months and weeks and years, right? And you are pretty close to the end, so I don't know how many years we got, but take notes, man. Take notes and digest it slow. Digest it slow. And the first thing I'd recommend is before watching this lesson, go watch the lessons dealing with the name of the Father and the Son. All right, deal with repentance. All right, putting off the old man and putting on the new. All right, I may start doing, back to basic lessons here, maybe sometime this week, if the Spirit's on me. It sounds like something I should get back to doing. I haven't done some in a minute. But yeah, man. So back on topic, doing a bunch of jabbering. There's a lot of things, especially if you're coming from the Christian church, man. There's gonna be a lot of things that you learn are just straight out lies. All right, they tell you that you can't say, bad words or swear words. They'll say that it's corrupt communication. It's not corrupt communication. If you get the definition of what corrupt communication, it's deceitful speaking. All right, and saying shit is not deceitful. All right, it might be harsh, but there's nothing saying that you can't use harsh language, man. All right, that's a Christian dialect. That's a Christian teaching to make them seem holier than thou. We don't say bad words. Well, no one gives a shit if you don't say quote unquote bad words. Who made them bad? You made them bad. You said that you can't say them. Nowhere in the Bible does it say you can't say shit. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that anywhere. All right, that's something that they've made up. Just like they've made up the hell doctrine that it's this red devil poking you in the ass with a pitchfork. That place doesn't exist, man. Now there is hell, a place of future punishment. All right, but it's not anything like what the Christians say, man. All right, there is judgment, but it's not anything like what the Christians say. They don't understand, man. They don't get it. So that's the first step is untwisting, all that, untwisting your brain. It's like that necklace that you kept in your pocket and it's all fucked up now. That's the first step when you come in this truth is untwisting that brain, getting you off that Jesus juice, man, and getting you onto, putting you on a better meal plan, all right, of Yahweh Shemiao Shai, okay? Fixing your spiritual diet, right? So that's what I would recommend to you, right? So going on, you see the picture here. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to save that. I'm probably save that and make it as the thumbnail of some sort, right? So let's read a little bit about it. It says, the Memphis Massacre of 1866 was a series of violent events that occurred from May 1st to 3rd, 1866 in Memphis, Tennessee. The racial violence, was ignited by political and social racism following the American Civil War and the early stages of Reconstruction. After a shooting altercation between white policemen and black veterans recently mustered out in the Union Army, and that shows you right here that dating all the way back to 1866, they never gave a shit about black veterans. They never gave a shit about so-called black veterans. All right, they never gave a shit. There's records that were burnt up all throughout history. A lot of the records in Vietnam, a lot of the records even prior to that were burnt up. Black, so-called black soldiers we never saw that you served. We never seen that you served. All right, because all their documentation was burned up. They're subject to racism. All right, all these different things. Matter of fact, a story was said. I was told this. I used to work in a knife shop, doing like making tactical knives, right? Doing like the sheaths and all that stuff. And the guy that was my boss was a Vietnam veteran, all right? And he'd tell me some stories about Vietnam, and he told me the story about how back in the day that there was racial issues. He was a white guy, so-called white guy, probably an Edomite, more than likely an Edomite, but who knows? And he was saying, he was like, yeah, he was in the Navy, so they used to do the swamp boats, all right, going through those fucking jungles, man. And he was telling me that he and some of his dudes and his squad or platoon went out to go to a bar, and in that group he had a black dude. He was cool with this black dude, and they went to the bar, and they sat down at the bar, and another platoon basically said, get that N-word out of here, all right, before we like shoot him or do something to him, all right. And he was telling me, he said it was basically fucked up how they treat him like another soldier, basically. He's a soldier too, but because he's black, they see him as a lesser than, and that shows you, man. Even in the military, you so-called not just black people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. You're not appreciated in Esau's war. The only thing that they want you for is your disposable hero, right? Disposable soldier. You go out there on the front line, get shot up. They don't give a shit about you. All right, and then they'll burn your records up right after. They don't have any consideration. You're not cared about, man. These people are devils. They're evil. All right. It says after a shooting altercation between white policemen and black veterans. Here it was. They served, right, and in the Civil War. All right, in the war, and now you have black policemen shooting at them. That just shows you, man. Police never changed. Police never changed. This is 1866. How many years ago? Never changed. Right. It said recently mustered out of the Union Army. Mobs of white residents and policemen, Edomites, rampaged through black neighborhoods and the houses of freed men, attacking and killing black soldiers and civilians and committing many acts of robbery and arson. These are the original fucking gangbangers right here. That's some gangbanger shit, going around shooting people out in the street, fucking looting houses and robbing and burning houses. That's some fucking gangbanger ass shit, man. And that shows you that we didn't, that's not one of our things. That's a learned behavior. That's a learned behavior that Jake learned from Esau. They learned all their barbaricness. We weren't like barbaric like that. We had wars, yeah, but we weren't fucking barbaric like that, It says, federal troops were sent to quell the violence and peace was restored on the third day. A subsequent report by the Joint Congressional Committee detailed the carnage, with blacks suffering most of the injuries and deaths by far. 46 black and 2 white people were killed, 75 black people injured, over 100 black people robbed, 5 black women raped, and 91 houses, 4 churches, 8 schools, every black church and school, burned in the black community. Modern estimates place the property loss at over 100,000, suffered mostly by black people. Mainly black people fled the city permanently. By 1870, their population had fallen 1/4 compared to 1865, basically rooting the black people out. Now there's there wasn't as many as there once used to be, because what did they used to do? Hey, everywhere you see a nice lake, you see what used to be once a nice black homestead. All right, a once nice black little village. All those lakes, man, all those lakes that are out there. There's black neighborhoods under those places, because they would burn them, raise them to the ground, slaughter all the people, and then they'd put a man-made lake over it. Look it up, man. Look it up. All right, and so I wanted to grab something in here. The $100,000, right? So inflation calculator. Let's see how much money this would have been. can't even get it back that far. I want to try to see 1913. I guess is the farthest it goes back. Let's just see what. So let's just go back there and see if I purchase an item for $100,000. So that's 10. All right. There you go. $3,154,868. Bam! And that's just in 1913. So you can raise that to about $6-7 million. Okay? And about $7 million that the damage was worth. All right? You think Jake ever got that back? No. You think you're ever gonna get reparations? No, you're not gonna get it. They won't. They're not gonna give. They're not gonna give our people shit. Oh, we're lucky. They even not lucky. I hate to say the term luck. We're fortunate that we can even get anything like we're at the bare minimum when they give us things like Section 8 housing and food stamps and unemployment. Man, we're fortunate they even do that. And a lot of these people, they're trying to get rid of all that. All right. They've been trying to get rid of food stamps and any type of aid, all right, for any people, and it's white people that are on it the most. If you look into the statistics, it's unemployed, uneducated, sister fucking ass hillbillies living in trailers out in West Virginia. Not always in West Virginia, but other places like that, Alabama, Kentucky, Missouri, living in trailers that are the highest users of welfare. All right. But they try to make it seem like it's us. But we do use it a lot, though. But the reason we use it a lot is because, they're not hiring our people. Race discrimination. They just don't hire our people, right? And then, the situations that they put us in, all right, where we always make less money, all right, because we're working, not that they're paying us less, all right, but we're not getting the good paying jobs. All right, we don't get those jobs where they let you sit in a fucking office and just type away on a computer. And you might say, well, a white person will say, oh, that's because you're not educated enough. You don't have the qualifications. Well, here's the qualification. Here's the thing. I know somebody who's white that lied about their application. They're working for the government, okay, mind you, all right, and they lied about their qualifications, and she still got in and gets to make like fucking $30 an hour or more. All right, and they've promoted her. And you know what she does for a living? You know what she does? She makes PowerPoint slides. That's it. And she doesn't even have the qualifications for it. Maybe some minor qualifications, but not for the job that she was hired for. So, what does that show you? How did she get in? Because she's white. Now, would they have done that same thing for a black person? Absolutely not. No, they would have not. Would have they done the same thing for a Native American? Absolutely not. What about a so-called Mexican? Absolutely not. They would not have. And they would have made sure to check our qualifications. All right. If they did even let us in, they'd make sure to check. Oh, I don't know. Let's check our qualifications. Run a background report on them as well. Oh, do a drug test. We don't even do drug tests here, sir. Well, we should start with at least Jamal over there. All right, and Juan and what's his name, Geronimo. Get them all drug tests. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have even hired them. But of course, the labor laws, we got to have a couple of them here, right, Bill? Yeah, that's how that shit works, man. That's how that shit works. Okay. But they'll hire you to, pick vegetables in a field. They'll hire you to, be janitors or just baseline workers or fast food or retail. And sometimes our people have a hard time even getting those jobs, man. So there you go. There you go. There you go. So I know for a fact, at least at my job, and the fortunate is I have a lighter complexion. I have leprosy of the skin, which is not fortunate for me, but it happens to be in my situation. Well, actually, I was hired before, so it wouldn't even matter. But the girl that was there was hiring Jake. The girl that my old manager when I was first hired, she would hire Jake. There was quite a few Jake working there, or at least Jake-looking people. Some of them were tears, but now the one we got now, not a single black person has been hired. Not a single black person has been hired. If they interview, that shit goes right in the trash. Well, it goes right in a drawer. It goes straight in a drawer. Not in the trash. It just goes in a drawer and it just stagnates. Right? And it's been well known. She's had reports on her again for racism, but she's still working the job. She still gets to be the manager, right? That's how it works for Esau. That's how it works. Now she said shit, and we've had one of the guys I used to be cool with. All right, he put a report on her all right, for racism, and they investigated her and let her keep her job. She had another report where they investigated her, probably, and then let her keep her job. There's been Yelp reviews, right, and different reviews about her and all those different things, right? And then, she got to keep her job. Now, if there was ever any occurrence that a so-called black man, was said something racist or did something racist towards a white person, they wouldn't get to be manager anymore. They'd fire that person instantly, right? We know this, and it's just Esau's hatred, man. Esau's hatred, especially with the murder, man. Especially with the murder. That's their favorite thing to do. Let's get Genesis 27:41. This is Esau at the end of the day, right? Genesis 27:41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. There you go. Right? He wanted to kill his brother. Now, at the end of the day, Esau got everything at the end of the day that he was supposed to get. Okay? Now, Esau, at the end of the day, Esau did get everything at the end of the day he was supposed to get. And so did Jacob. Esau was never really meant to get that blessing. All right? Matter of fact, he sold his birthright to Jacob. All right? And what is the birthright? What is the biblical birthright as firstborn? Well, it means you inherit everything. Okay? So Jacob now has that birthright. All right? He sold it because and it mentions in the Bible, he despised his birthright. Esau despised it. He hated it. He didn't want it. And that's all part of the story. That's storytelling. What do you call it? That's story building done by the Lord. All right. He never wanted the blessing to go to Esau. That's why he had Esau reject it. It was never meant for him. It was always meant for Jacob. Some people say, no, it was meant for Esau. If it was meant for Esau, then Esau would still have it, wouldn't he? All right. You saying the Lord made a mistake? Is that what you're saying? That's not very godly of you, Mr. Christian white Edomite man. All right? So, it was always meant for Jake. It was always meant for Jacob. Never meant for Esau, right? But Esau got a blessing as well, which his blessing was the sword. So, we know what the modern day sword is, the gun. All right? His killing and slaughter and bloodlust. And right here, he's already exemplifying it. Genesis 27:41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. It was supposed to be mine, man. It wasn't supposed to be yours. Lord had that set up in a perfect situation. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And it's exactly what he's done. All right, he's gonna slay he's gonna mourn his father and go about and slay his brother. And of course he was bound up for 1,000 years. But after he was freed, went forth deceiving the nations and slaughtering as much as he possibly can. He's always been a slaughterer, a murderer. All right, that's who he is. All right, that's just who he is. So let's get Ezekiel 35:6. And you might say, well, how is that still today? Well, they got to realize that that bloodline still exists. The same person, just like Jacob's bloodline still exists, so does Esau's. Now, if you talk to biblical scholars, quote unquote, they call themselves scholars. They'll say, no, Esau was done away with. Esau was never done away with. What are you talking about, man? Esau was never done away with. So Ezekiel 35:5-6 says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity and the time that their iniquity had an end, therefore as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, so that thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So they're getting it back, man. They're getting it back. The blood's going to pursue them. Death and destruction and torment's going to terrorize these people, man. But they had no problem. They loved, shedding the blood, but, it's like that term, time to pay the piper. They don't ever want to get anything back. They want to keep on celebrating, have their win, and have their win, and have their win. Well, guess what? Even if you're at a casino and you're on a winning streak, guess what? At some point, it's going to fall through. And Esau's time is almost there. It's almost about to fall through. And he's going to be destroyed. The Lord's going to kill this dude, man. All right? His descendants, these so-called white people. Okay? So, let's get some more. That's the Memphis Massacre. And, of course, I'm not going to be able to get through all of these. But, let's try to get some... Of course, we have the one in 2015. Let's get some newer ones. Let's get Philadelphia 1985, right? Most people know about that one. All right. Most people know about this one. All right. When America, bombed its own people. 1985 move bombing. It says, locally known as its date, May 13th, 1985, was the destruction of of residential homes in Cobbs Creek neighborhood of Philadelphia, United States, by the Philadelphia Police Department. Ah, there it is, Police Department, once again, during a standoff with MOVE, a black liberation organization. Philadelphia police dropped 2 explosive devices from a helicopter onto the roof of a house occupied by MOVE. Philadelphia Police Department allowed the resulting fire to burn out of control, destroying 61 previously evacuated neighborhood homes over 2 city blocks and leaving 250 people homeless. 6 adults and 5 children were killed in the attack, and one adult and one child surviving. A lawsuit in federal court found that the city used excessive force and violated constitutional protections against unreasonable search and seizure. So now are all those people fucking millionaires? Nope, they're not millionaires. No, they don't give a shit, right? Remember, Jake, you will not and never will get reparations from these devils, all right? The real reparations will come in the kingdom when you get to fucking whip these people over the goddamn back and say, pick my goddamn apples, cracker. That'll be the true reparations, all right? Because the Lord's gonna give, check this out. And there's more scriptures to prove this, but this is just one that's simple and to the point. All right, Revelation 13:10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So this devil's going to go into captivity, man. You'll be Django unchaining that, Django chaining the fuck out of that motherfucker. When Jamie Foxx, when he was whipping that motherfucker, whoopsh, whoopsh, that's what they're gonna get, man. That's what they're gonna get. All right, they're gonna get hardcore labor. Let's get Tulsa, 1921. That's kind of another one that's more well known. All right, let's get it right here. Black Wall Street, right? That's another one that's more well known. Tulsa Race Massacre, also known as the Tulsa Race Riot, or I always just hear it as Black Wall Street. All right, this is what happens when you're a successful black person, right? Was a 2-day-long white supremacist terrorist massacre. Wow, they're calling them terrorists now. That's progress. That took place between May 31st and June 1st, 1921. All right, so we're coming up on an anniversary here soon of that. When mobs of white residents, some of whom had been appointed as deputies, police, and armed by city government officials, attacked black residents and destroyed homes and business of the Greenswood district in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The event is considered one of the worst incidents of racial violence in American history. The attackers burned and destroyed more than 35 square blocks of the neighborhood, at the time one of the wealthiest black communities in the United States, colloquially known as Black Wall Street. There you go. The commission gave several estimates ranging from 75 to 300 dead. All right, but who knows? They're lying with that as well. They don't want to make it seem as bad as it was. Okay? That's what happens when you're successful in black. What else do we got? Let's read another scripture. Let's get some scriptures. It's about the scriptures. So let's get Numbers 35 and 33. All right. Let's get that one. Numbers 35 and 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. You're not supposed to be killing. Everybody knows thou shalt not kill. All right. This just talks about it as well. You shall not pollute the land wherein you are. All right, for blood it defileth the land, meaning they're polluting the land with blood, and it can't be cleansed by the blood of him that shed it. Who's him that shed it? We all know. Who's the one doing all these attacks, man? Wilmington, that sounds familiar. Which one was that? 1898. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, there we go again with white supremacists. It says, and see how they try to pass the blame. It says it was a coup d'etat massacre, which was carried out by white supremacists in Wilmington, North Carolina, United States, on Thursday, November 10th, 1898. The white press in Wilmington originally described the event as a race riot caused by black people. as they always do. They never, you know, we see it. Well, I don't even want to read no more of this shit, but you see, you know, this is the mob posing. All right, some of these are y'all's ancestors, man. Well, I'm not those people. You are your ancestors, man. You are your ancestors. And once you brothers and sisters that are new in this truth, once you learn about reincarnation, it is a biblical thing. It's not how these Hindus say it. Oh, you come back as a bug. You don't come back as a bug. Or maybe a cow. You don't come back as a fucking cow, man. You come back in your life. If you're a human male, you come back as a human male. If you're a human female, you come as a human female. That's how it works, man. You're not no fucking bug. I came back as a bug, and that's how I know. No, you don't know shit. All right, Abu Dhabi. All right, so get the fuck out of here. The fucking race circuit, you know. But you know, there's a lot, man. There's a lot to it. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, have you found honey? You gotta eat so much is sufficient for you, right? You don't want to vomit. There's a lot to this, man. That's why they're trying to ban the Bible, man. That's why it's imperative that you get this now, man. The Lord has a spirit on you to, you know, you're here for a reason, man. You're here for a reason watching this video now. It's time to wake up. All right, put all that, you know, bullshit, you know, and all of our culture, so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American culture has been set up by the white man, you know, gang banging, Chicano culture, fucking, you know, all, you know, even Native American res culture. All this shit has been set up by the white man to have us act out of pocket and shit, man. Violence and gang violence and shooting and looting and stealing and selling drugs. All that shit's all created. You know, if you go back into the early history of gangs, you know, and ghettos, all right, how they were formed, they were literally dumping off boxes of guns, all right, in Jake neighborhoods, all right. Why? You know why? Start violence, all right. And they, you know, the separating of the black man from the household, you know, and then the ultimate psyop of, you know, getting the black woman to turn against us, right, and getting the so-called Latino woman to turn against us, you know, which has happened for the most part, but it's most primarily with the black female. All right, she is completely turned on her man. Now, Latinos are kind of getting too, because they're falling after the head tribe, Judah. They want to be just like them, so they're kind of doing the same thing. And then, you know, Gad, I'm not sure what's going on with Gad. Probably the same thing that's going on with all the Latinos, really. But that's man. The ultimate goal is to get us to call their heritage our heritage and say that's our culture. That ain't our culture. Our culture of what? Being Mexican, from Mexico and Africa, right? No, we're not from Mexico, we're not from Africa, and we're not from America. We're from Israel, okay? But they don't want us knowing that. That's why their whole thing right now is they're trying to ban the Bible. All right, there's reasons for it. Why do they want to ban the Bible? Because they don't like it getting out who they are. That's why. And people say, oh, they're banning it because, you know, it's got some really inappropriate things in it, you know, dealing with the homosexual. No, that's what they're saying. That's what they'll say. They're trying to ban the Bible for a different reason. It deals with who the Edomites are, who the Judites are, who the Ephraimites are, all the tribes, right? And who this devil is, and what the Lord's going to do when he's going to come back. It deals with all the signs and the times and things that we're going through and seeing now, man. And they don't want that. You know, they don't want that at all. And they try to make it seem like it's such a distant thing. Oh, this was forever ago. It wasn't forever ago. Bear with me while I grab a drink. Try to find the oldest one on here. 1866 looks to be the oldest I've seen so far. 1863, New York. All right, so 1863. Let's do this. 2024 minus 1863. Bam. That is 161 years ago. All right, 161 years ago. All right, some people have some grandmamas that are 80. Right, so we just do divided by 80. How many 80-year-olds is that? Two 80-year-olds, that's all. Even if you look back to the funding of America, all right, 1776. All right, 248. How many old people that is? How many 60-year-olds? Four 60-year-olds, man. That's it. Or 248. Oh, 248 divided by 50. That is about five 50-year-olds. That's it. Your mom, right? And then her grandma, and then her grandma, and then her grandma, and her grandma was around during that shit. That's it. They make it seem like this was like fucking, you know, medieval times Oh, hear ye. No, no, fucking no. That's not, no. It's not that. It's not that. It's only been 248 years. Five 50-year-old people. All right. That's it. 5. Or 4 60-year-olds. Okay. Or 248 divided by 80. 3 80-year-olds. That's it. That's all it's been, man. You know, your grandmother's grandmother's grandma was around during that shit. That's it. 3 80-year-olds. Or 4 60-year-olds. Or 5 50-year-olds. However you want to go through it. All right, now it's 248. 248 divided by, let's say, 30-year-olds. That's 8 30-year-olds, man. 8 30-year-olds. I'm about almost 30, man. There's a lot of brothers in this that are older than that. That's 8 30-year-olds. That's it. 8. That's not that many, is it? That's not too many generations back, now is it? So there you go, man. So we're gonna just get these last 2 scriptures and close out, because Esau tries to make it seem like, you know, this shit was like fucking, you know, in the year 1. You know, it's no, that's not. And even year 1, all right, you know, going back to the, you know, the Lord's time, all right, and, you know, after the foundation of the world, that's only been, you know, several, you know, thousands of years. All right, has they? But it's 4.1 billion. No, it's not. It's not several thousands. If you look at the real calendar, no, it's not. So Amos 1:11, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. He kept his wrath forever, perpetually. Let's go and get that term real quick. I'm gonna be a little late for work, but hoping my boss will be understanding. Usually decent with it. Perpetual, everlasting, unceasing, existing indefinitely, continuing forever in the future. There you go. There you go. You know, going back up to that word perpetual, perpetually, it was up here too. I forgot to get it in Ezekiel 35 and 5 through 6. But yeah, perpetual hatred, existing forever. And it says, and he kept his wrath forever. Why? Because that's what perpetual means. Okay? And the Lord's not, what does it say? I will not turn away the punishment thereof. The Lord's going to pay these people back. All right? The Lord will definitely pay these people back. All right? And we can't wait, man. We cannot wait to see it. It's Obadiah 1:10. It says, Obadiah 1:10, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. These devils are going to go, man. Not anywhere good. They're going to go away, right? And, you know, they got that 1,000 years in the kingdom of slavery, hardcore captivity that they got to be in. And then after that, they're going to go away. Poof, gone, vaporized, no more to return as a nation. So that's been the lesson. Esau's everlasting hatred towards Jacob. Hashtag America. That we're going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. Shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. If you have any questions or comments or anything, you know, you can drop them down. You know, as long as they're orderly, I'll try to, you know, answer them to the best of my ability. Till then, till next one, Lord willing, Shalom.